Hi, I'm Angela Broughton from PolesandBlinds.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make tie top curtains. You have to follow points 1 and 2, the videos 1 and 2 on the site that shows you how to make the curtains, and this video is just to show you how to make the top into the heading of the tie top curtain. So tie top curtains are very informal, so you can have all sorts of different ideas, having them contrasting with the curtains, or different coloured ties, bow ties or string ties or whatever. So I cut, for these particular ties, this strip here is 33 inches long and is 2.5 inches wide. And make sure that you have all the ties the same length. So take your strip, fold it over and over. Let's just show you that bit. So fold it in half and in half, and then machine down this line here that you've created, so you don't have any raw edges. So as you fold it in half like that and hold it steady. You don't actually need to pin this because it's so narrow. Just make sure that you hold it at the front and the back so it doesn't pucker. I'll leave that bit there. Right, so now here you are with your tie sewn. Cut off the bits of cotton and stuff that are left, the ends. Now you can fold that over and machine it, but because they are very informal, I just usually knot the ends. So take the end and just turn it over. Keep it so that you're right at the very end, so that the knot actually then hides the raw edge that's left at the bottom of the curtain. So keep your finger in, hold that end, and then as you pull the knot tight, it just pops over the raw edge. So here you are at the end of the second video with your curtains made, just waiting for the heading, whichever heading in particular you've chosen. So with the tie heading, you have to turn it over at the finished curtain length. So you go all the way along, making sure that your finished curtain length is correct. Make sure you get a decent line ironed in to follow, and make sure also that the top of the curtain is running true. You don't want bits of a pattern starting to grin through at the top, because it'll really notice when the curtains are hanging up. Now turn the curtains inside out. You've got the curtains turned inside out, otherwise you've got no way of neatening the top of the curtains. In this particular instance I'm going to use 8 ties, but you can use as many ties as you like. Make sure they're all the same length. Fold your ties so that one end is about 3 inches longer than the other, and then when you place the ties into the curtain, the longer piece needs to go the lining side, because the longer piece needs to go over the pole before you get to tying the bow, and so if you don't have that side longer than the other side, you'll end up with the bows being not in the right place. They'll be along the top or slightly to the side, down the side or whatever. So mark the distance evenly spaced out leaving the 3 inches at one end, and then in between it works out that it's 6 inches spaces all the way along. So pop this, as I say, long side to the lining, pop it into the curtain. You've got your mark here, which is your machine line, and make sure that your mark that you've marked onto the lining is in the middle of the tie, and then pop the pin in at 90 degrees because you're going to machine over the pin, otherwise the tie will start moving around at the back of the curtain. So there you are, pop the string inside the curtain, keep hold of it. There's your machine line which you folded in, remember, and there's your mark. Whoops, wrong. There's your mark which wants to be in the centre of your string. So machine along the top, starting at the fold line of the lining, because with these particular, when you're doing tab top and tie curtains, you sew the sides, but don't quite go to the top because you have to mitre in the corner to neaten off when you turn the curtain through. So go slowly over the pin and the string ties, because particularly if you've got a domestic machine, it's quite a load on the machine to get through all that lot. You may need to buy, in fact, a thicker needle. Take the pins out. Turn the curtains the right way. Turn them through. There is another method of making curtains which is called bagged out, which I will actually show you in another video. But if your curtains are bagged out, then clearly you won't, a bagged out curtain is where the hem is actually all machined, so it's like a sack. So you've in fact not got any way of getting into the curtain, but I won't confuse the issue. Fold in, mitre and hand stitch down. Here we are again. Fold in, mitre. Fold in the last side, mitre the corner, pop a pin in, and then it's ready to just hem closed. I did obviously tie these a few minutes ago. So you can either tie them in knots, like that, or bows. Obviously if it's a boys' room, then knots are more relevant, and if it's a little girl's room or a feminine sort of room, then bows are the answer. When you tie the bow, just make sure that you keep it down the bottom. Tying this bow upside down, which isn't very easy. And just arrange it so that it's looking bow-like. So just press down to make a nice crisp finish along the top. And then post them into your pole. So here you are, this end's got the knots and that end's got the bows, and that's tie top curtains.